Did she not understand like how you actually qualify to be here? You need to apply for asylum. You can't just like walk in. Okay? Like, can I walk into Mexico without getting my passport stamped? No. Okay? Like, you just can't do that. You certainly can't go there and then try and, live off the system, thank you very much, or let alone possibly try and vote, which is where this was all heading. Think about that. New York City, moving to allow 800,000 non-citizens to vote in local elections. It's something that happened in Berkeley or Oakland, California as well. I mean, there's a method to the madness, ladies and gentlemen, and you wonder why people spoke up, had to take their country back, take your financial life back too. Go to 76research.com, my own financial research company. I started with my friend Rob Horton. Code word dollar, because then you get it, the 76 report for $1 a month. Take your financial future back. If you're really looking to invest, I do recommend the model portfolios. We get 3 of them there. You can check those again at 76 Research. But I'm telling you, Letitia, baby, she's out for blood. She had some kind of meltdown here today. Watch.
No one elected Elon Musk and his minions, and no one has allowed him to have access to this information. This is a violation of the separation of powers. The United States Congress, the United States Senate, has the sole discretion in having the power of the purse, and not Elon Musk. We are here today to seek a preliminary injunction to stand up against those forces who believe that they can unilaterally have power and have control, all in the hands of the President of these United States.
He's smart. He just turned off the money. He's got the Treasury Department. Like, we don't have to fund this. You guys aren't actually abiding by the law. So why would we need to say, go and fund Rikers Island for, people that are known criminals and here illegally to get 3 squares a day? We don't have to do that. Letitia James is like, oh, yes, you do. And we're going to protect those people because, they need protection. Forget about, the poor person who's just trying to ride the subway in New York City. You see how their priorities are completely out of whack? I mean, really out of whack. And we're learning that it has been bad for some time, especially for the last 4 years. DOGE is exposing every single bit of it. Boy, are they angry. They don't like Elon for doing this. They're trying to say it's illegal. I don't think it is. I don't think it's one bit. In other words, the President of the United States has ordered an audit on all of these departments. And he brought in DOGE, an outside contractor, to do the audit. And they're finding out all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, you get total chaos because New York's like, F you, we're not going to bother doing anything you want. We're going to continue allowing people to get driver's licenses, and we're going to say you don't have to show any proof of identity if you get pulled over. And by the way, we're not going to help you at Rikers Island with those criminals that are here illegally. We're not going to coordinate with ICE. And he says, you know what? Fine. You do you, I do me. Money is gone. I love it. It's like the parent, right, that comes in and is like, okay, hey, kid, I don't like your lifestyle right now. I don't appreciate this. This is not going in the direction that we not want or need. So no more money. You're cut off. So much for the allowance. I mean, why should you get federal taxpayer dollars? Why should my taxpayer dollars go to New York City and the state of New York, given that they are squandering every single bit of it? Well, Letitia's melting down.
Payments to the state of New York and to states all across this nation. It is unacceptable, unconstitutional, ultra-vires. They have exceeded their authority. And so it's important that attorneys general representing our respective states stand up and enforce the rule of law, because Elon Musk, individuals at the Treasury, and the President of these United States is not above the law. And we will continue. As attorneys general, we've been preparing for this. This is not the outcome that we wanted.
How many times has she said that? Like, seriously, guys, I've played you the sound bites before. This is not the outcome we wanted or expected, but we've been preparing for this. We've been studying their playbook. I mean, I know the whole speech by heart. I don't need to bore you with it, but this is her MO, okay? Well, Letitia, again, you may not be the brightest bulb. You may be a heck of a politician, though, but I'm just going to remind you because I didn't go to law school, but I'm not an idiot. And I know that the federal government has power over, if anything, most definitely, our borders. That's like basic stuff. So they have total control over this, whether she wants to admit it or not. They have the power to enforce immigration law over the states, incidentally. So the states can get out there and say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And that's exactly what New York and plenty of others, sanctuary states, sanctuary cities have done. But when it comes to something called the supremacy clause of the Constitution, it means the states, they can say and do whatever they want, but ultimately the power rests with the federal government. Here you go. Because it says that the law of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Congressional intent is paramount in preemption analysis. Accordingly, a court must determine whether Congress expressly or implicitly intended to preempt state or local action. All right, by the way, you get H.R. 35 that they've also implemented, in which Congress is saying if somebody is here illegally, that's a problem. They need to be deported. And this is what Pam Bondi has been arguing, because she's saying things like the green light law in New York City and New York State, they actually put law enforcement that are trying to do their job in jeopardy, which is pretty messed up.
And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their...
Okay? They're putting their lives in jeopardy, going out there trying to get the bad guys. And you got Letitia James, who just wants to start a political fight.
Not only does this administration's new policy put people at risk, but it is plainly unconstitutional. The president does not get to decide which laws to enforce and for whom.
Yeah, again, honey bunny, you're wrong. I sound like Benny and Mike Davis, right? the president's lawyer who, I love this soundbite. Let's see, do we have this? He's like, basically, Letitia, you're heading to the slammer if you continue down this path. I do believe he said we're going to put your fat in jail. In prison, I think was the way he said it. Anyway, because again, you go back to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. Guess what? The U.S. has the power to establish a uniform form of naturalization. The U.S. is totally in control of who's in, who's out. The federal government enforces immigration laws. And if you have any doubt about that, Letitia, go take a look at the actual Constitution, where it actually says, yes, the law of the land shall be the supreme law of the land. Okay, so that is the supremacy clause, and it means, Letitia, you can't get away with this. You really can't. There are rules set up. You think, and she tweeted out that New York has its own laws and its own rules about all of this. It doesn't matter. And so if you're not going to abide by the law, yeah, they're going to sue you. But they might also do what they do with spoiled children. Cut you off. That's what happened. She is cut off. And it's kind of fantastic because somebody's finally standing up for Americans. You want to come into the country, you come in the legal way, okay? You apply for asylum. Should not be that hard. And no, this is not a constitutional crisis. It doesn't have to be a constitutional crisis. This is actually pretty simple stuff. And the Supreme Court will decide it. So Caitlin Collins and CNN and the New York Times, you can go on about this all you want. You're just over-dramatizing.
We are 3 weeks into the second Trump presidency, 3 weeks. And tonight there are warnings that the U.S. is dangerously close to a constitutional crisis.
No, it's not. Because once again, this is simple stuff, okay? Simple stuff. The feds have control over the border. That's why, hey, you know what, Governor Abbott, I felt for him down there in Texas, trying to put the wall back up as Biden was taking it down, and he couldn't do it. Why couldn't he do it? Oh, because you see, the federal government, i.e. Biden at that time, had control over the border. And our lovely border czar, one Kamala Harris, she had no interest in controlling any of that. Makes you wonder why, right? So no, there's no constitutional crisis. This will go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will say, you know what? Hey, feds have control of this. There is the supremacy clause. And the bottom line is you all, Letitia, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the entire squad, Kathy Hochul, you're all wrong. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Pretty magnificent stuff. But I ask this, why were they doing it? Like, think about, like, why, like, what's the rationale here? Why would they be doing this? I realize it's kind of like bordering on conspiracy theory when you say, well, maybe they were looking for votes. I mean, the reality is a lot of people came here as soon as they were here and they had legal status. They actually looked around and said, we don't like what they're doing either, right? So I don't know if that necessarily would have won them the day at the end of the day, but I think that's what they were doing. I really do. And you know why? Take a look at this. Think about New York allowing or moving to allow. I don't think they're going to get any of this through, but they wanted to allow 800,000 people that were not citizens here in the country to be able to vote in local elections. I mean, it's wild. Like, can you go anywhere else and not be a citizen and suddenly be voting in elections? I mean, try that in Switzerland. Good luck, right? Try to Mexico. Good luck. Like, that's not happening. So why would it happen here unless the Democrats were just trying to get more votes? Is that what this is? I kind of think it is.